Hello everybody, it has been a hot minute. I actually filmed this introduction about a week and a half ago, but the problem is that the lighting was really weird, and so I decided to refilm it. We're going to be making a PVC longbow. It is actually super easy, and so I'm just gonna kind of run through what I had talked about originally, and then hop back to the old videos of me actually making it. So the tutorial I followed was by the Backyard Bowyer, and I'll link a link to his tutorial below. His channel is super cool and you should definitely check it out. The first thing you need, obviously, is a piece of PVC. You can see I've already wrapped the handle, and the bow is actually mostly already done. There's one more thing I'm going to do today, but that you'll see a little bit later. So the first thing you're going to want is a piece of PVC. It needs to be fairly long. Mine is actually a little short. So mine was supposed to be, I want to say, 66 to 68 inches. And what you do is you measure from fingertip to fingertip with your arms outstretched. And then you divide by, I want to say 2.5, I think it is. And that will give you a number that you can check against a chart. The chart I used is actually a recurve bow chart. This is a long bow. It doesn't have, when you actually put it on, it doesn't have quite the same kind of dramatic bend as you might think of when you think of a typical recurve bow. So it's not like a Mongolian horse bow or anything like that has the very dramatic curves. So this is actually almost as tall as I am, and again, it should be slightly longer. I'm standing it up on the ground right now, and it's been a while. I've wanted a bow for a long time. I had one, but I have arrows, and yeah, it's about time that I actually had a bow. My draw weight that I was going for was between 20 and 40 pounds, so I kind of averaged it out and said 30. I actually don't know what the draw weight is on this, but I clearly need to get stronger because it's kind of hard to pull. And in the video, I did make a bowstring, and this is actually a new bowstring that I made because since I can't make this longer, which would reduce the draw, I ended up making a longer bowstring to help reduce kind of the pull on it and make it a little bit easier for me. And then if I get stronger, then I can go back and I can put the old bowstring on. One thing I will say, at some point in this video, I dry fire the bow, which means I pull the thing back and I release without an arrow actually being on it. That's really bad. Don't do that. That's all I'm gonna say. Just don't. Yeah. Because the force has nowhere to go when you dry fire a bow, and so it all goes back into your bow, and then the bow can shatter and break. This bow does not have fiberglass in it. There is a version, if you watch the Backyard Bowyer, he basically makes a pack of fiberglass and he sticks it in because it'll make the center stronger and disperse the force more evenly towards the ends of the bow, which will help the middle of the bow from getting a really dramatic bend in it. Unfortunately, because of quarantine, I can't go outside and I can't go to Home Depot. Theoretically, it is still open, but I don't want to risk it, so I'm not gonna go out. And I've strung this bow before, and it seems like it's doing pretty okay for now. I don't think I'm going to be using it, a whole heck of a lot, so I'm not particularly worried about overusing it to the point where it's going to bend, and if it does, this is super, super cheap to make. I had this pipe already lying around in my garage, and I kind of just stole it, with permission, but I stole it. So yeah. Let's get into the actual videos, and then you'll see me wearing the same outfit again at the end when I get to the very last part, because I realize there's one little adjustment that my dad suggested that I want to make. Let's go! Alright, so I measured out the first inch, and I'm just going to saw it off. It's plastic, so I'm not particularly worried about particles and stuff, since it's a little too heavy for that. But normally when you're sawing anything, please wear a mask and keep your lungs safe, because inhaling anything into your lungs other than, you know, air is not good. Alright, so this is a weird angle. I showered, so we're rocking the curly hair today. So I made the first cut. It's an inch in. I don't know what this knock on the top is for. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in my family tried to turn it into a bow before. That's just kind of the people that we are. So, but I ended up making actually 2 cuts. I made one cut that went straight in, and then I made one cut from the top that was angled in, because I realized that as I was cutting it, you could use a file to basically file into this, and you would get a much wider knock, a much wider gap. And as I was cutting it with a saw, because I don't have a round file that would work, I realized that it was going to be too skinny to actually fit anything in, and so I made the top cut to at an angle to meet with the just horizontal cut, and it made it wider, and hopefully it'll be able to fit in now. I don't know if it's going to slip out or not, but if not, or if it does, then it's an easy fix and I can just saw in a little bit more, and hopefully that'll fix any issues I might have. Time to do the second one. Okay, I made the first cut, just so I know where I'm going to be putting it, and I have to saw the rest of it. I also honestly really should probably be wearing gloves, but you know what? I like the danger. Make sure you pick up any big plastic pieces on the ground. Littering's bad, you know, save the environment. So now that I have made the cut on both sides, I keep looking over here because I'm looking at myself, and then I realize that the camera's over there. But now that I've made the cuts on both sides, it is time to make the string. And just looking at this bundle, I can already tell that untangling it is going to be not fun. So I'm going to pause the video until I find pieces that are long enough, and then we'll be back. So I found 3 pieces, 2 white and 2 blue, that are pretty decent and they're not very frayed. So the next thing I want to do is, I have my arrow here, and I'm going to test if I braid a piece, is it going to fit into the end of the arrow. So I just have these scrap pieces. I'm going to braid them really quick, and I'm going to see if it does fit. If it doesn't, then I might have to do a Flemish twist, which will take longer. Well, it won't take that much longer, but yeah, so. The good news is that a braided piece will indeed fit. So, is that gonna focus? No. The good news is a braided piece will fit. And so now comes the next big task, which is braiding a massive length of this, and also hoping that it's stretchy enough that it'll have at least a little bit of give. But this is all an experiment, so if I have to do it again, that's fine. We'll do it again. Alright, so if you've watched the rest of this video, then you'll see that I made these cuts just with a saw. And so what my dad suggested and what I want to change is, because this is the part where the bowstring is going to be getting the most stress, and he suggested that I drill basically a very small hole just with a drill from here and here so that it doesn't have this sharp edge here, and so that when I'm pulling back on the bowstring, it doesn't basically slice right through, which I think is a smart idea, so that's what I'm going to do. There's another one of these cuts on the other side, but, you know, they both look the same, so I don't think I need to show you that. Alright, so I successfully drilled one side and the other after quite a bit of a struggle. One side, they both look like they're closed off a little, so, oh god, this is awful. So I'm gonna have to go in with like a little saw or a knife or something like that and just clear it out so that the string can actually get through, because when I was drilling it sort of pushed all of the PVC sort of into the hole, or into the little slit there. So yeah, I'm gonna need to clear that out, otherwise the string isn't actually gonna be able to get through. But I have two more. I'm sorry about these angles. I'm so sorry. Mostly for myself. Alright, so both of those are done. I'm going to saw the part where the little hole and the slit connects so that it is not all clogged up, and then we're going to try and restring it. We did it! And lastly, there's no point in building a bow if you don't test it out. The space in my backyard is not fantastic, so I will only be able to film either myself or hitting the target. Chances are I won't hit the target, but you know what? We're gonna film it anyways. Wish me luck. Hell yeah! I didn't hit the bullseye at all, but that's for knife throwing and not for archery. So, yeah, I'm gonna need to... Oh my god, look at how deep that went. You can see it. It came out on the other side, all the way through. And this is my only practice arrow. I have other arrows, but they're like, they're not good. And I already broke one, actually. I've tried this bow out, not with the thing. I tried it out when I first made it, and yeah, kind of broke one of my nice arrows. So we're not doing that again. And I'm just going to be using this one practice arrow until I can get my hands on some more. Yeah. Wow, that actually worked way better than I thought it did. Last time I was shooting at this target, number one, the target fell over, which is what snapped my arrow, and two, I kept shooting wide. I was hitting literally everything but the target, and I'm not standing from there very far away. I was standing from like 11 feet away, which is kind of sad, but I am quite pleased. So this is a super easy project, and then you have a bow, so there's no reason not to do it.